Now we're going to go a little bit deeper into how phonemes in spoken English are represented by graphemes, which are letters or letter combinations that correspond to those phonemes. We'll be talking about patterns and constraints on letter sequences in English orthography. Here are some facts from Dr. Louisa Moat's book, Speech to Print, about the predictability of English orthography. 50% of words are predictable by sound symbol correspondence rules alone. So right off the bat, decoding from a basic sound symbol relationship can help students be able to accurately read half of the words in printed English orthography. Another 36% of words are predictable by rule, but with one exception. Another 10% of those irregular words will be predictable if morphology and word origin are taken into account. Only about 4% of English words are true oddities. So this might help you feel that English is a little bit more predictable than some people would have you believe. What does this mean for how we could spend time in the classroom? Teaching students the single letters that represent phonemes should begin in kindergarten. For example, P is represented by the letter P. But there's more to it than single letter sound correspondences. There are many letter combinations, as graphemes can be 2, 3, or 4 letters. There are about 80 specific graphemes to represent the 44 phonemes that are common enough to merit explicit instruction. There are position constraints or patterns that govern where a grapheme can be used in a syllable or word. Additionally, syllable and morpheme patterns govern or constrain the way letters represent sounds. We've discussed consonant phonemes from Chapter 3 in the Speech to Print book. Now we'll discuss consonant graphemes. Single consonants are fairly straightforward, one letter to represent one sound. There are double consonants that represent one sound, double F, double L, double S, even double Z. We'll talk more about those patterns in a few minutes. Consonant digraphs like SH, TH, WH, or CK, and consonant trigraphs like TCH or DGE are single sounds that are represented with multiple letters. These need to be understood first as phonemes. Why and when certain letters represent these single sounds can be explained and taught to students. English also has silent letter graphemes, like in the word gnat or no. Knowing word origin can be helpful with these. Then there are a few tricky ones. The letter X typically stands for two sounds, k and s. The letters QU stand for the two phonemes, k and w. Some sound spellings are always predictable, such as the letter P representing the p sound. Other sounds are represented with multiple possibilities of spellings, and the decision as to which grapheme or letters to use with which phonemes can depend on placement in the word, the language from which the word came, as well as sound symbol correspondences. The various reasons why graphemes are chosen are important for teachers to know in order to help students further their understanding of what letter patterns to use in spelling. While the intent here is not to memorize all of the spelling patterns, teachers should become familiar with and ultimately understand these spelling options in order to best assist their students with reading and spelling instruction. It is best to present the information to students in systematic sequential progression of lessons, starting with the easier, more predictable spellings and moving over time to the less predictable ones. Just like with the consonant sound spellings, vowel sounds can be spelled with single letters, such as what we often refer to as the short vowel sounds that are represented by single letters A, E, I, O, and U. A predictable spelling for what is often called long vowel sounds is the vowel consonant E pattern. Even the vowel teams can be sorted into more or less predictable spellings. For example, the A sound is predictably represented as AI in words like rain, or as AY in words like pay. Which to use is also predictable and represented by a pattern that can be taught. And there are vowel R combinations, OR, UR, ER, AI, and IR. In Speech to Print, Dr. Louisa Moats expands her vowel chart to include the letters that can represent each vowel sound. She has placed keywords under each vowel sound, so you can see examples of how the sound can be represented with letters when the sound occurs at different places within a word. For example, there's really only one way the short A sound is represented, and that is with a single letter A. But look at all the ways the long A sound, AI, can be represented. This information is very useful when making decisions about words to use for reading and spelling instruction, when selecting a phonics scope and sequence with decodable text, and when analyzing the errors students make in their writing. A chart like this can form part of a sound wall in a primary classroom. As the graphemes are taught that represent each vowel sound, new keywords can be added to the wall. Looking at a chart like this can help teachers make decisions about how to order instruction from easier to harder, how to select words to use in phonemic awareness, phonics and spelling instruction, and how to analyze the errors students make in spelling. A useful approach to teaching decoding and encoding follows these basic steps of a routine called phoneme-grapheme mapping. Say the word and count on your fingers the number of phonemes in the word. Draw a large box around the number of boxes to represent the number of sounds in the word. Say each sound and write the grapheme for each sound. Then read the whole word. Next, students can practice writing the word in dictation or to dictation, and reading the word in word lists, phrases, sentences, and eventually in controlled decodable books. This sequence fits well in the explicit teaching cycle, I do it, we do it, you do it. It allows students to deliberately connect speech to print. This same basic routine can be used where students are decoding and spelling basic VC words all the way up to the most complex syllables containing trigraphs, silent letters, and complex multi-letter graphemes. Good phonics and spelling instruction teaches the patterns that govern English orthography, such as the ones that you can see here. Spellings of sound can be determined by the position of the sound in the word. For example, the GH spelling for never occurs before a vowel. Think of the word fun versus the word rough. The double F only occurs right after a stressed short vowel, like in the word cuff. The spelling of ng with the letter N occurs when the sound is followed by a k or a g, like in the words sink or hung. Use CK right after a stressed short vowel. Letter K is used right after a vowel team or another consonant, N, L, R, or S. The letter C is used before the vowel letters A, O, and U. And use letter K before the vowel letters E, I, and Y. Letter C is used in blends, followed by R or L. These are all patterns that can be explicitly taught to students. What is known as the floss rule refers to the doubling of consonants F, L, and S to protect, so to speak, syllables with short vowels from saying the long vowel sound. Examples include the words fluff, pass, and well. The floss rule extends to short vowel words ending in Z, like the word jazz. There are some patterns related to vowel sound spellings. For example, AI in the middle of words, AY at the end of words, OI in the middle of words, OY at the end of words or syllables, and the use of OU or OY. This is a less predictable pattern, but typically OU is used in the middle of syllables, such as the word cloud, but there are exceptions, like when OW comes before the letters N or L, like in the word brown. The letters OW are used for the OW sound when the sound is at the end of a syllable, such as the words cow or rowdy. And finally, there are a few arbitrary constraints on sound spellings. For example, the letters J, Y, and I can't be doubled within a syllable. Consonant digraphs SH, TH, WH, CH, NG, and PH act as relational units and spell single speech sounds and can't be doubled. A double consonant must be between a stressed short vowel syllable and a suffix beginning with a vowel. Think about the word grabbing or bussing. Complex spellings, CK, DGE, TCH, and X replace or act similar to double consonants after short vowels, like in the word boxer or pitching. In English, the letters V and J are not used at the ends of words. Permissible spellings for J at the end of words are DGE and GE because there are no English words that end in the letter J. Letter E has several uses. E is added to words that end in V, regardless of the vowel sound being long or short. This is an orthographic convention, not a sound syllable correspondence. Sometimes letter E represents phonemes directly, like we or bet. Sometimes it represents when the vowel is long, like in the word stage. It indicates when C or G is making the soft sound, like in nice. Placed at the end of words ending in S, letter E keeps those words from looking like plurals. In that case, it's not used to mark the vowel sound. Think of the word horse or mouse. When teachers have understandings of these conventions or patterns of English and where there are exceptions, they can explain them to students and therefore more effectively teach reading and spelling.